Hello everyone and welcome to Global Outlook. I'm Mary Sitt. We're all familiar with using Japanese products in our everyday life, everything from driving a Toyota or Honda to using Sony electronics. Japanese businesses want to directly invest in Texas, and you can find out about this at the Japan-Texas Economic Summit in Houston. Here to tell us more is Donna Cole. She's president and CEO of Cole Chemical and Distributing and one of the co-sponsors of the conference and the chair of the conference. Donna, thanks for being with us.
Hi, thanks, Mary.
Tell me about this Japan-Texas Economic Summit.
Oh, it's so exciting. So we're going to have a Japan-Texas Economic Summit May 7th through the 9th at the Marriott Marquis downtown, and we're expecting about 400 people.
Okay.
And it's to...
Some stellar speakers, right, coming up?
Oh, yes, I see. So we have Bruce Culpepper from Shell, and you see Mr. Ibisu. He is the president of Dyke & Goodman Air Conditioning HVAC.
Wow.
And they're in Waller, Texas. They have a 5 million square feet facility. They're going to hire 10,000 employees. It's just awesome. So their foreign direct investment is huge. You see Vice Chairman from Toyota Motor Manufacturing Company coming in, and also the President and CEO, Bill McKeon from the Texas Medical Center. So the interest is very broad. You'll see Rolando Pablos, our Secretary of State, former ambassador to Japan, Tom Schieffer, and of course Sylvester Turner is heavily involved.
So you definitely have the influencers of the heavyweights coming to this conference.
Yes, legislators, state and city governments, as well as businesses across the state.
Now, what's the purpose of this conference? Just to introduce, different decision makers to the ones in Texas, or to actually start up business partnerships?
Well, so both. So it's companies in Japan who want to come and do business in Texas or find a partner to do business with, companies in Texas who want to take their product to Japan. So that's been interesting to know. American Airlines is there, Frito-Lay is there, Campbell Soup. So it's not just for large businesses, it's also for small and medium-sized businesses as well. So we want to see that economic development and growth in both countries, in Japan as well as in Texas, right? Because we're a country all on our own.
Sort of, you're right. So what kind of things, what's the market like in Japan for Texas-made goods and manufacturing?
Well, they love our barbecue.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yes, and of course 7-Eleven, I don't know if you know it, years ago they were on the verge of bankruptcy and a Japanese company bought them. And so now 7-Eleven is in Japan and all over the world.
Doing business as 7-Eleven, the same name?
Doing business as 7-Eleven.
Okay.
So there's just a lot of great things going on. They're looking at what do we want to do to partner with them on computers, technology, especially in the medical field as well. And
so healthcare.
Robots. Healthcare. Healthcare is really big. Mitsui bought a company called Delta Healthcare out of Dallas, and so they place nurses and doctors in hospitals.
Wow.
So it's just not manufacturing.
Okay.
It's inclusive of service companies as well. And of course there's huge developments going on in the energy world with LNG and building these LNG terminals in Freeport in South Texas.
So what kind of conference goers do you expect to have? Who should be attending, and who would it benefit?
Yeah, so I think anybody who's in business, who wants to do business in Japan, or anybody who's here who wants to find a Japanese partner, an investor in their organization and help their organization grow.
What about the arts? Is Japan interested in some of the things that we produce, our music groups, the local music groups?
Yeah, in terms of the arts, I think so far with this conference we've seen more emphasis on hospitality, food and beverage, as well as real estate, things like that for professional services, lawyers, etc. I haven't seen a lot yet in the arts. It's the nonprofit side of the U.S.-Japan Council. So they bring over students and they like to see the culture being expanded, right? But for this conference, it's really more about business and economic development.
Okay. And what are the advantages of partnering with another, a Japanese company partnering with a U.S. company?
I think the nice part about that is, they're very innovative, right, and creative. And so, and I think Texas also has a lot of that
can-do spirit,
right?
Yeah.
Just dig in and do it. And I think the two make a great synergy for business.
Because with Texas, like, everything's bigger and better. But in Japan, everything's very compact and small, and you use space very wisely.
And I think we can learn from that, right?
Yeah.
Both sides, because there's the Shinkansen, which is the Japanese high-speed rail. It's going to be coming in between Dallas and Houston. And so
that's
that's really exciting. They're going to be speaking as well. So you can imagine if we can do that, then maybe we can connect Houston to Austin, San Antonio, and back up to Dallas, right? With a nice triangle.
Right.
And then include South Texas, because there's a lot of Japanese businesses along the border where they still have the maquiladoras program. So you have your offices on this side, and you have your manufacturing plant on the other side of the border in Mexico.
What are some of the obstacles doing business in a foreign country?
Well, I think it's just to know what are the rules, right? What's the government rules? And so we're going to have people here who represent those entities in Japan as well as people in Texas. So if you were coming from Japan, you know, we're going to help you with starting your own business here, getting set up with the state government, you know,
Here's
how
your
to pay taxes.
checklist of things you have to do.
Right, you know, what about real estate? Real estate here is very different than real estate in Japan. So we'll have somebody talking about that. And so do you want to come in and lease or buy? How do you work with tax incentives, right? How do we get transportation, right? Metro, how do we get Metro involved with the people in their businesses and get employees to work?
Wow, some big topics you're tackling at this conference.
Huge, huge.
It's not just mom and pop shops, just, you know, doing an import-export business type of thing.
Right, and I've learned so much on this journey. Do you know Houston, not Houston, but Texas has the most ports of any state in the country?
I didn't know that.
We have 15 ports.
Wow.
Yeah.
More than California. I would think the coastline, you know.
You would think, and then I learned about Brownsville, Texas, has the largest landmass of any port in the United States. They have 40,000 acres.
I didn't know that either.
And they're expecting in the next 20 years $43 billion worth of economic development.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So these ports are important to Texas in terms of doing business, especially international business, shipping container loads of things back and forth, right?
Yes, and taking the gas through the Panama Canal. So our work on this Japan-Texas Economic Summit is huge. It's going to be highly successful, and I encourage anybody who's in business to come.
And how much does it cost to register?
Yeah, so it's $400 for non-members to come and participate, but I think for $400 for, it starts on May 7th. It starts with the evening reception, all day the next day, and then half a day. So you're not looking at 3 full days, right? Really a day and a half. And then we're going to have some tours. So if you wanted to go see this Daikin facility where they have 5 million square feet, let me put that in layman terms. That's 74 football fields, including the end zones, end to end. That's how big their manufacturing
People are going to be able to
site
look
is.
at that and tour?
Yes.
Where is it located?
It's in Waller, Texas, right outside of Houston.
So you'll have tours, optional tours people can take to look at the manufacturing
NASA,
facilities.
everybody wants to go to NASA, right? And the Texas Medical Center, so we'll have a bus tour around the largest medical center in the world, and also their innovation center. Right, so they're doing collaborative efforts with the researchers and taking their product to market.
And what do you hope to accomplish out of this conference? Will you be able to track the results?
Yeah, so we're going to try and track the results because we also are giving people the opportunity to share their information with each other, and so that way we'll be able to tell what kind of new businesses are transacting.
So a year from now, you can give me a little summary on that one too.
I will.
Okay, good luck with the summit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
If you're young and want to make a difference in your community, you need to know how to plug in with decision makers who affect your life. Our next guest will tell you how. Don't go away.
I've seen people's lives change just by attending a class at HCC.
Some of them might not have the financial means to go to a four-year university. That doesn't make them any less quote-unquote smart than the kids who go to a four-year school.
HCC is easy to get to. It's easy to apply and easy to become a part of.
It gave me so much confidence.
Once you finish your 2 years there, you can transition into a four-year university or go into the workforce.
It's affordable, it's accessible, it changes lives.
We have academic programs that help students get from high school into a university. And the data is very clear that students that take the path of a community college finish in far higher numbers than students that start straight into a university experience. Our students can achieve a baccalaureate degree in multiple fields from the universities in the area without ever leaving Houston Community College.
most amazing gift that you can give someone is seeing individuals have an opportunity in their lives that they would never have again.
So you're reading the news and you decide it's time for new leaders. How do you become engaged in civic affairs? Our next guest has the ear of one of the most powerful people in the city, the mayor of Houston. Danielle Bartz is director of boards and commissions in the mayor's office. Danielle, thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
What is the boards and commissions director person? What do you do? And how many boards and commissions do you have?
That's the great question. So the city of Houston has about 150 boards, commissions, committees, task forces, most of them listed on our website. And they are groups of individuals that are volunteering their time and expertise to help the city government get really important jobs done.
So you sort of sift through all the applicants and decide?
That's right. So I meet regularly with the mayor to determine what he's working on and what he needs, and then I receive applications through our website and look for the talented individuals in Houston that can help us accomplish those goals.
Okay, so when you say talented, what exactly are you looking for?
Well, every board is different. So because Houston is so big and we have so much going on all the time, each of our different boards and commissions and committees have different tasks. So some boards are more regulatory and they require a very specific expertise, a lot of experience in one area. And other boards are fundraising for a cause. So what we really need is the treasure of the board members. So a lot of times boards refer to the 3 T's, time, talent, and treasure. Do you have the time to put into volunteering toward this important cause? Do you have the talent or the expertise and skill that we need to make decisions? And do you have the treasure to donate toward or raise the money for the cause needed? So every board's different.
I'm in my 20s, I'm young, I want to be engaged, you know, this whole student movement and all that. I'm getting involved in everything, what's going on, and I want to serve somewhere in the city. What kind of board would you put a millennial on? So a very smart one who's got good grades in college.
That's right. And incorporating millennials into our civic service is very important to Mayor Turner. We are intentionally trying to be inclusive about all types of diversity at seats of the table in decision making for Houston. However, we do have to consider if a young millennial or a student is looking to serve and doesn't have as much experience as someone else, then they're probably not going to get appointed to a board that they hear about all the time in the news.
Like I like animals. Houston Zoo.
The Houston Zoo board is a great board, and a lot of people send in applications and cover letters telling me that they love animals. But what the zoo board needs is contributions to fund the conservation and the important work that they're doing all over the world. So we love that you love animals and we want you to volunteer and participate with the zoo. However, getting on the zoo board is more about your treasure than your love for animals.
It requires a donation from the
board. Is going to require annual donations.
A hefty one.
Hefty donations.
Like $5,000?
Like $5,000 for the zoo. And we have other boards whose fundraising levels are about $1,000 annually or $2,500
Okay, so I don't have a lot of money, but I have a lot of talent, and I think I have a lot of talent, and I have some time. I don't have any kids, I don't have a mortgage. I'm that young person. So am I going to be in what kind of board would I be on?
A young person who's starting out and maybe doesn't have board experience wants to look at our website and read the descriptions of the boards. Bigger boards that have more board members allow more flexibility. So I can incorporate experienced board members with younger applicants that need to learn the process, and I can take a lot of recommendations to Mayor Turner for his decisions on who should serve.
And these are going to be the boards and commissions no one's ever heard of.
Probably boards and commissions that you've never heard of. And some of our boards and commissions have multiple entities appointing. So sometimes the mayor can make appointments and the city council members can make appointments and potentially the county government or some other entity makes appointments. So often we get the question, do I have to live in the city of Houston? Well, to be a mayor's appointee for the city, most of the time, yes. But not always, and you can connect with other appointing entities.
Is getting on a board or commission an important way to become civic, engaged in the community or?
I think it's really important, obviously, but it's not the only way to be engaged. So I tell individuals, if you apply on the internet and you just don't hear back and you feel like your resume just went off into the cloud and was never seen, go ahead and start volunteering. Show up at those board meetings. Pay attention to what they're doing and how they're making decisions. Ask questions, get involved, learn how it works. And then down the road, they've seen your face. They know that your passion and your excitement is real in that area, and you've become an even more qualified candidate for a board.
So do you have examples of people who actually are on the board now, who started out, you know, when they were younger and they learned the process, and now they really are, you know, a vital part of what the city does?
Oh, we have plenty of examples of individuals who will call and say, I'm interested in X, Y, and Z, and I will say that board is full right now, but they have X fundraiser coming up, or they're in need of volunteers every Saturday afternoon, and once those folks start showing up, then those organizations start recommending those individuals to me. So then they're no longer just one application in a system, they're an application with high-level recommendations from people with experience.
And that helps a lot.
That helps a lot.
Okay, so when you're working on a board, and I'm on the board of my HOA, and that
Yeah,
little bitty
yeah.
board, I mean, there are 7 of us, and it gets so political already. You know, someone doesn't want to do this, somebody doesn't want to do that, 3 of us get together and say, let's do this. I mean, how do you work with all the politics? You can't get around that. I mean, it's just by nature going to be political, right?
Some of them are political. Some of them are regulatory, and they are working with departments at the City of Houston, and those people with that expertise, we need them doing a job. We have a water adjustment board is a great example, and they're literally looking at people's water bills that had something go wrong month to month, and they need help making the adjustment because at no fault of their own was one water bill really high. That doesn't sound exciting, but somebody with expertise has to be able to look at that and say, this probably happened.
And that makes a big difference in somebody's life, you know, adjusting that water bill.
That's right. Other boards are advisory, and so they literally serve to weigh in on one community of Houston and keep the mayor abreast of what's going on in that community and make recommendations to the mayor in a certain political climate. And so those boards absolutely have to pay attention to what the city's doing, what's going on at the state level, what the mayor needs help with, getting a message out to the public.
So you try to find people whose views align with the mayor's views then, since you sort of serve at the pleasure of the mayor, or what?
I do serve at the pleasure of the mayor. In fact, I moved here. I moved here to work for this mayor because I believe in what he's doing for the city. So absolutely, we want people who want to support what he's doing.
What his vision is.
If you disagree with where he's going in a certain area, then you don't want to be on that board that's working toward his vision.
Now, do you ever have like terms, like so many, like 2 years, and then a new mayor comes in, and that person just is not aligned with his views? Do they just sort of like excuse them, you know, resign? I mean, how does that work?
We don't have a lot of resignations. Most people, every now and again, somebody moves outside of the city limits and then they're no longer eligible to serve. Every now and again, somebody has served for a long time and they're retiring or they're changing jobs or some situation in life makes it where they're not wanting to devote that much time to that anymore. What really happens is that when a new mayor comes in and when we appoint new people to the board, we make sure to deliver the message of priorities, that we're excited about X, Y, and Z projects, and this is what that board is working on right now.
And if someone disagrees, they can just say, well, this doesn't fit in with my
Oh, absolutely.
vision.
These are voluntary board positions.
Right.
And so if somebody resigned because they weren't interested in serving any longer, then we would have plenty of people interested in filling their spot.
Do you ever have any surprises, Danielle, where you thought somebody was going to be a good candidate and it's like, whoops, didn't quite fit, or the other way around, maybe you weren't so sure and that person turned out to be a stellar, you know, board member?
I mean, most of our board members are pretty stellar. We do get feedback, so that's a good question to how we determine whether or not we want to keep somebody and reappoint them or whether it's time to replace them with new board members. We get feedback from not only the community and potentially council members or other leaders that work with these individuals, but we get feedback from the departments. So who's been on the board how long, and have they attended all of the meetings? Have they attended 50% of the meetings, 25% of the meetings? If they can't attend the meetings for a reason, do they participate in the big community events? Are they an integral part of making that organization function toward its mission or not? So that's one of the first discussions we have when figuring out what is a board missing, what do they need, and then who do we have in our pool of applicants that could really fill that gap.
What's your big tip on how to get along with other board members and make things happen? Because sometimes it's such a slow process to get action, right?
Yes, government can be slow. There's a lot of people that weigh in on decisions, and so sometimes I imagine our board members feel like we have meetings and we make recommendations, and when do they turn into reality? My recommendation would be to keep the main thing the main thing. So the main thing isn't your personality or that board member's personality. The main thing is the mission and what you bring to that conversation that's moving toward the goal. If what you're talking about or disagreeing about isn't helping us get toward the goal, then let it go for now.
Okay. Danielle, thank you so much for being with us and telling us about
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. And they can all apply at houstontx.gov/boards.
And you read all of them?
I look at them when we're ready to address that board.
Okay.
I won't read it immediately, so if they don't hear back, that's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you, Mary.
Coming up next, we'll meet one of Colombia's best and brightest who's learning all about cybersecurity here at HCC. Stay with us.
An engineering career is a wonderful career. The HCC Engineering Center of Excellence created a new degree which allows students to take the first 2 years of a 4-year engineering program here at HCC, and then they transfer to an upper division college. Total tuition costs for that 4-year degree is under $20,000. More than 1 million engineers will be retiring over the next 10 years. We need to educate the next generation of engineers, not just for Houston or Texas, but for the country.
The Logistics Center of Excellence has 2 programs, one of which is the Logistics and Global Supply Chain Management program, as well as the Maritime Specialization. Any student entering the logistics program here at Houston Community College will walk away with the knowledge needed relevant to industry, because our industry partners are engaged in our program to help us develop it to ensure that when our students walk away from here, they can get those jobs.
I learned how to cook from my grandmother in the mountains of Oaxaca. I have won many awards and worked in many restaurants. HCC was a turning point in my life. What those wonderful teachers and instructors taught me is priceless.
To pose, now sure. She makes the sound seem, makes me deep in the North Sea.
Ever since he was 12 years old, our next guest had a dream to leave his home in Cali, Colombia, and come to America to study. Miguel Rosas fulfilled that dream after competing and being selected for a prestigious scholarship to study at HCC and its international program. Miguel, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to HCC here. Tell me, what is it like about your country? You're from Cali, it's a major city, right?
Yeah, I'm from Cali, Colombia, and for me it's a wonderful city. We love dancing, we love salsa. It's a wonderful dance so far. We also have many different types of food.
Okay, so let's look at some pictures we have here. Now, Bogota is still the biggest city, and you're the second biggest city, you think, in the country?
Bogota is the capital city of Colombia.
It's bigger than Cali?
Yeah, it's bigger than Cali. This is Cali, my wonderful city. I'm missing it right now.
You're missing it a lot. What's the population of the city? Do you know, approximately?
In this moment, no. I cannot calculate so much the population, but it's big.
Houston's probably bigger, though,
yeah,
right?
Houston's probably bigger than Cali. This is my flag. I love when I see the flag from here, I'm feeling everything.
Oh, you get homesick, right?
Yeah. I see the stadium of my city. This is really big. I went there. Yeah. This is a type of dance. It's called salsa. You can see that people are dancing. Well, we are so happy when they are dancing that kind of dance.
Are they performing? It's like they're performing.
Yeah, it's a performing.
Not just
And this is my city.
What's the traffic like?
The traffic is a little difficult in my city, but it is good.
Now you come from a family of 5 people, right?
Yeah,
5 in your family, and your parents are both lawyers?
Both of them are lawyers, and they always tell me everything about life. They say that if you want something, you need to go straight and get it. You need to work hard for your dreams if you want to get your dreams done in life.
And that's what you've done, because since you were 12 years old, you wanted to come to the States and study, and here you are.
Yeah.
And also when you were 12, what did you do? You did you created something, right? Tell me about that.
Well, when I was 12, I was really curious in my country because I wanted to do many things. And I was the one in my house that used to, repair the computers.
You would take it apart and your parents would get angry because you couldn't put it back together?
Yeah, I couldn't put it back together. But something that really good about my parents is like they never took out everything from me. They said if you did a damage to that, okay, leave it there. because I was so curious to open the things. I want to see how it is working. So when I was 12, I decided to program, to code, and I developed my own calculator when I was 12.
Did you taught yourself how to do that, or you read a book, or what?
Well, I went to the internet and investigated for myself how to do it. I spent like 2 days and 3 days, and finally I did it. Yeah, it was
That's
really
incredible. At 12. Okay, so now you're here and you're studying cybersecurity. Tell me why you chose that field and what are you learning here?
Well, at this moment, I'm studying cybersecurity in Houston Community College. For me, it has been really wonderful because in my country, I'm studying computer science. So when I came here, I decided to study something else. So cybersecurity, like how to protect yourself against any virus, against any hacker that wants to get access to your data.
Okay.
And I have learned many things here. I mean, now I know how to protect myself from those people.
So what steps are you doing? Avoiding Facebook, right?
Yeah, because you know that in this moment, social media is a little dangerous.
Right.
You can click on a link, it's gonna take all your data from it. So they told me how to protect myself, how I can help people.
Okay, and you plan to take that knowledge back to Cali?
Yeah, I'm planning to get back to my country and help my society in the way that I am.
How are the teachers here different from the teachers back there at the university? Is the method or the style of teaching different?
Yeah, it's a little different because when I came here, well, the teacher was teaching a different way. Like sometimes it was a little difficult to understand. Like you need to go follow this step. But in my country, yeah, I was trying to follow everything. But here, like you need to work harder if you want to get it. And I was trying to get an A every single time.
You're trying to get an A. Have you made an A so far?
Yeah, I have made
Good for
A's.
you. What's your impression so far of the United States and of Houston in particular?
Well, when I came here, I was really surprised because people were really friendly. Well, in my city, people are friendly, but not so much. When I came here, like neighborhoods they invited me to go out, like, hey, let's go out to eat, let's go out to do many things together, let's exchange our culture. Well, I was thinking, well, it never happened to my life, and now this is happening.
These are like other students inviting you out, people you don't know, or just people?
Yeah, students also
Other
invited
students.
me to go out, like, hey, let's do something. Where are you from? I'm from Colombia. Oh, I want to know about your country. Tell me about it. So I was like, I was so excited about tell those people about my country and my culture.
That's great. You had a good experience so far. And were there any surprises about Texas or Houston when you came here?
Any surprise? I told the people, and the food for me was a little different from my country. The first time when I came here, I was missing my food. I was like, okay, this is not the same. What I'm gonna do now?
So what's your favorite American type food now?
At this moment, I've tried many food, but sometimes it's a little spicy. I know that the spicy from Mexico, but everything in United States has been good. I mean, the food has been good. But my country, the food is also, well, I'm missing my food.
You miss the home-cooked food from your country. Yeah. So when you go back, you're going to go back to your university and continue your studies in engineering, information technology, right?
Yeah.
Engineering, system engineering. And then
engineering.
what do you want to do after you graduate? What are your big career goals?
After I finish my degree, I want to travel to the world. I mean, to explore many things. I want to also work in Google or Microsoft. It has been my dream.
So we'll see you back in the States again, then,
yeah.
right? Google or Microsoft.
To get back to the States, because I want to use my skills helping people, teaching people how to do things. And also when I get back to my country, I want to teach kids like how to code, how to use computers.
Oh, that's nice. You could do like little summer camps.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Miguel, thank you so much for being with us and good luck with your studies here.
Thank you so much.
That's all for this edition of Global Outlook. I'll see you again every Friday and Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. plus Saturday at 10. I'm Mary Sitch. Thanks for watching.